Today I'm going to be sharing a simple homemade dog food recipe that I use for my pets sometimes. I like to interchange the recipes that I use to give them some different flavors and keep them interested in their food, and it also helps to keep their diet nutritionally balanced. This recipe is fortified with some really great ingredients like snow peas, mushrooms, kale, celery, some really healthy ingredients for your pet, and it's really quick and simple to make. As I mentioned, this is a simple homemade dog food recipe. It's also limited ingredient. There are only 7 ingredients in this recipe, and it's very easy to make. The first step is I have 3 tablespoons of coconut oil melted in my skillet here, and I'm going to saute 1 cup of mushrooms in the coconut oil. This should take about 10 minutes, and these are just simple white mushrooms. There are multiple types of mushrooms that are beneficial for dogs. If you have a different type on hand, be sure that you just do a quick Google search, make sure that the mushrooms that you're using are beneficial for dogs. There are lots of different types, so do a quick search if you're not using simple white mushrooms. Our mushrooms are looking good, so now it is time to add half a cup of chicken broth. I buy low sodium organic chicken broth for my dogs. That's the type that I would recommend. You want to keep the sodium down, and any time that you can find organic ingredients for your dog is better. You also want to add 1 cup of chopped snow peas. These are from our garden, and I cut them up with the pods and all. You're going to add half a cup of celery, again that's chopped, and half a cup of chopped kale. Then you're going to put a cover over this and let it cook for about 10 minutes. That's going to give the broth time to heat and boil, and it will wilt the kale a little bit and soften the other vegetables so you can mix everything in really well. Now that the vegetables have all had time to cook down, you can see the mushrooms in there. Some of the peas have come out of the pods, but the peas and the pods are in there. Celery, the kale's cooked down nicely. And now I'm going to add 4 scrambled eggs, and I'm just going to cook this until the eggs are fully cooked. And that's it. Then the recipe is done. The tricky part of this recipe is in the serving. Preparing it is very simple. Serving it is another story. You need to serve a 50-50 mix of this dog food and either a bed of quinoa or a bed of brown rice. So, for example, the serving size of this dog food is about half a cup for every 20 pounds of body weight. So I have an 80-pound chocolate lab. That means that each serving for her, and she's gonna get 2 servings a day, each serving is going to be 2 cups of food. So I'm going to use 1 cup of this food that I have cooked here, and I'm going to use 1 cup of either cooked quinoa or cooked brown rice. And what I do is I cook the quinoa or the rice according to the instructions on the packaging. And then I simply put 1 cup of quinoa on the bottom of a bowl as a bed, and then 1 cup of this food on top of the bed of quinoa or rice. So again, it's a half a pound of food per serving. Half a cup of food per serving, and that's for every 20 pounds of body weight. And you want to split the food in each serving, 50-50 mix between this food that you have here on your stovetop and cooked brown rice or cooked quinoa. For more information and clarification on the serving of this, you can click the link below this video. It takes you to our website where I have written out all of these instructions in better detail. And you can also see photos of this food as well. This is what my simple homemade dog food recipe looks like. You can see the dog food on the top here, and underneath is a bed of brown rice. Go ahead, Molly. And you can tell that our beagle Molly loves this recipe. Now, like I said, what you want to do is split it into a 50-50 ratio. So you're going to have the rice or quinoa on the bottom and the recipe on the top. And the full serving together of both the quinoa or rice mixed with this dog food should be about half a cup per 20 pounds of body weight. So Molly weighs about 30 pounds, which means she would need about 3/4 of a cup per serving. And those servings are going to be fed twice a day. So she would get 3/4 of a cup in the morning and 3/4 of a cup in the evening. You can store the leftover food in an airtight container in the refrigerator for about 3 to 5 days. And you can also serve the food if you'd like to make it in larger quantities. You can make enough to serve for a couple of weeks or a month maybe if your dog's going to be recovering longer. You can store leftovers in the refrigerator for 3 to 5 days, or you can also make this recipe in bulk and store leftovers in the freezer for about 2 months.